Immigration compliance inspections don't target bad employers, they target the normal ones. The companies that get inspected are usually doing business, growing, hiring, not trying to cheat the system in any way. That's what makes inspections feel so sudden and unfair and confusing. If you think inspections are triggered by fraud or obvious violations, you're already thinking about this in the wrong way. Because most inspections are triggered by small routine mistakes that often look harmless inside a business, but which raise questions to the immigration authorities. My name is Donovan Francis. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I've reviewed inspections where employers genuinely believed they were compliant and they were shocked when inspectors showed up. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 most common mistakes that trigger immigration compliance inspections. Not extreme cases. These are normal employer behavior. So stay till the end because mistake number 7 is one of the most employers never see coming. Mistake number 1 has to do with assuming that approval means compliance. This first mistake is simple. Employers assume that once an application is approved, compliance is done. But in reality, it isn't. Approval is not the finish line. Approval is where compliance monitoring begins. Immigration authorities don't just care about what was promised. They care about what actually happens after the approval, and that's important. So when employers treat approval as closure instead of as the starting point, then risk starts building quietly. Mistake number 2 is letting payroll drift from what was approved, and this is one of the fastest ways to trigger scrutiny. Wages change, pay structures evolve, hours fluctuate, that's normal. But when payroll no longer matches what immigration authorities approved, even slightly, it signals inconsistency. And inconsistency is what inspectors follow. From their perspective, if payroll doesn't line up, they start asking questions like, if this changed, what else changed? Mistake number 3 is treating job titles as more important than duties. And this mistake shows up constantly. Employers rely on job titles to explain roles, but inspectors don't care about titles. They care about duties, what the worker actually does day to day. If the approved role was senior or, a senior managerial role or so, but the real work looks way more junior, then this mismatch is likely to raise red flags, even if the employee, even if it's an excellent employee, right? Or even if the business is legitimate. Mistake number 4 is allowing duty drift without noticing. This is a subtle one, and this is where jobs change over time. The business grows, the teams shrink, employees help where needed, but the immigration approvals are very duty specific. So when a role slowly shifts away from what it was originally approved for without updates or oversight, inspectors see it as non-compliance, not adaptation. And this is how good employers end up exposed without realizing it. Mistake number 5 is where internal records tell a different story. And here's where inspectors get very uncomfortable. Inspectors rely heavily on internal records, offer letters, contracts, timesheets, org charts, performance reviews, and so on. And these documents weren't necessarily written for immigration purposes, right? And that's exactly why inspectors may trust them more. When an internal record contradicts what was submitted to the authorities originally, then there will be credibility issues. Not because anybody lied, mind you, but because the story doesn't align. Mistake number 6 is assuming we've always done it this way and so it's safe. This mindset causes more problems than employers often realize. Past approvals do not predict future behavior. And so what passed 5 years ago may trigger an inspection today. Routine habits are often the most dangerous ones because no one thinks to question them. Mistake number 7 is never stress testing compliance before it's tested you. And this is the biggest mistake of all. Most employers never step back and ask if an inspector reviewed or payroll or job duties and or internal records today, what would they all say? Would they tell the same story? Instead, they wait until an inspection notice arrives. And by then, you're reacting instead of controlling risk. And here's the hard truth. Immigration compliance inspections don't punish bad intentions. They punish inconsistency. So payroll says one thing, your duties suggest another, your records tell a third story. That's what triggers inspections. Not fraud, not malice, but misalignment. And so I hope you found value from this video. And as always, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and check us out on YouTube for other videos like this.